The position this offseason has, of course, been wide receivers. That didn't change on round 1 of the draft, with 6 receivers going in the top 20, 2 veteran receivers being traded. Both of them happen to share the last name Brown. First up, the Eagles shook up the draft, shook up the league by acquiring A.J. Brown from the Tennessee Titans.
They did a great job.
Man, what's happening, man?
Hey, let's do it, man. Hey.
Boy.
Hey, let's do it, man.
Say no more.
The trade was contingent on us getting an extension, so something we were working on during the course of the draft, and we were just kind of trying to balance finishing that, and if we didn't finish that, making sure we also got the right players. But it didn't matter the receivers on the board. You know, for us, A.J. Brown was somebody that we'd studied coming out and spent a lot of time on, and we had a lot of love for A.J. Brown in that draft. Obviously, you know, things went a different way in that draft, but I'm really excited to get him, just in terms of how Coach can use him and his vision for A.J. Brown in this offense, and how he complements the other guys that we have here. And as you guys may or may not know, his relationship with our quarterback, you know, all exciting things, and I'm looking forward to getting him into Philadelphia.
The decision we made today was a tough one. You know, really appreciate what AJ has done here for our football team, on the field, in the community. And we had discussions back and forth, and I really realized we got to a spot where it's going to be hard to kind of get a deal done. And the trade thing kind of manifested itself from them. And
all right, first and foremost, what a night for Philadelphia sports.
Yes, great job.
Between the Sixers closing out the Raptors.
Shocking. That's maybe the biggest shocker of them all. They actually won that game in a blowout.
Okay.
Wow.
Going away, and the Eagles nailing the first round.
Yeah.
Trading up to get Jordan Davis out of Georgia, then trading for A.J. Brown for a first and third.
Yeah.
I mean, they got it for cheap. Now they gave him $100 million in a contract extension, but a first and third is nothing for A.J. Brown. But let me ask it to you this way. Which side is more interesting to you when it comes to this trade, the Titans' perspective or the Eagles' perspective? Because I know how you feel about the Titans as an organization.
Yeah, I love
That's
the Titans.
why I asked you that.
You know I love the Titans. But the Eagles' perspective is exciting because they decided to just go all in. They decided to go in twice. I know we're going to talk about A.J. Brown, but I just wanted to just say, trading up for Jordan Davis, it's also a great move.
Awesome
Getting
move.
Jordan Davis,
Yeah.
So he was an intriguing player in the draft. That was a good move.
And they still have their 2 first-rounders next year. Didn't touch those.
Right. And then you go out and you get a receiver who is slightly older than some of these prospects.
24
in
years
this
old.
draft. 24 years old, has
Yep.
already established himself
Absolutely.
as a terrific player in the league. It's a position that you need. It's a position that a lot of people predicted that the Eagles would use a draft pick on. I saw a lot of them.
And they did.
They
They
did.
got A.J. Brown with
They
the
did, but they
18th
got
pick in the
A.J.
draft.
Brown.
That's great. That's a win.
So I like what they've done. They've surrounded Jalen Hurts with a lot of good prospects. You know, you got A.J. Brown. You also already had Devontae Smith from last year. Pretty good.
So let's talk about that. Already have Devontae Smith from last year. And we'll get to the Marquise Brown trade to the Cardinals in a moment, but I'm going to connect those two briefly to just identify the new wave. And I guess I'm late to the party. You're probably like, oh, duh, everybody knows that. But I think these transactions yesterday underscore this. Not only do you need an elite or at minimum capable quarterback to contend. Gone are the days where you had one dominant wide receiver and just a complimentary guy. You need 2 ones. And most teams right now are putting 2 ones on the outside to support their quarterback. Like, you can't have a Jag on the other side. You need a Jag, not just a guy. You need just as good on the other side. I mean, they had Devontae Smith, who they took in the first round last year, and they say, we're going to invest another first-round wide receiver. And you saw it throughout the draft. You saw it with the Saints going up to get Chris Olave to complement Michael Thomas.
Oh, Michael Thomas. I don't know about that. But anyway.
About which part?
Michael Thomas hadn't played. He still play football?
Okay. Jokes aside, they pay him a lot of money.
Yeah, I know.
And he's a really good wide receiver.
Well, when he plays.
Sure.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, you already had a number one, and you went out and invested the 11th pick in a number one type receiver out of Ohio State.
Right.
You look at this offseason, okay? Tyreek Hill going to Miami after they had a record-setting rookie in Jalen Waddle. The Rams went out and got Allen Robinson to complement Cooper Kupp, who they got to pay again. Devontae Adams, the Raiders weren't short on wide receivers.
They got another one.
They got another one. Like, you need 2, if not 3, in today's NFL at wide receiver. Now, there's other teams at the opposite extreme who are still searching for a 1, but nonetheless, teams seem to be identifying wide receiver as the premium position in the NFL right now.
Hey, you forgot, just to go along with your
definitely
point.
Forgetting something.
How about my team? My team, the team that I rode for all year and tried to tell you about, the Cincinnati Bengals.
Hey, the trend-setting Cincinnati Bengals.
T. Higgins and Jamar Chase.
Okay.
So you got 2 1s right there.
Okay.
And so, no, I'm saying, but there are a lot of teams.
And then Tampa, but if you want to really talk about the trendsetters, I mean, Tom Brady went to Tampa to play with Evans and Godwin.
Yeah.
I mean, it's no longer sufficient to have somebody, quote unquote, to take the pressure off your number one. You have to have interchangeable number ones nowadays.
Except some teams don't. Now, last year's Super Bowl participants both, fit that bill because you had Odell Beckham Jr. And you had, Woods was out, but you had Odell Beckham Jr. got hurt in the game. You had Cooper Kupp, and then Cincinnati, as I just mentioned. But look at Kansas City. Kansas City probably doesn't have a 1.
Exactly. Not yet.
But it's going to be fine.
Or Green Bay, who I'm sure we'll talk about.
Green Bay doesn't have a fine, and
we'll talk a lot about
they're going to be fine too.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
I mean, everybody's not able to pull this off for one reason or another. But bottom line is, this is a position that teams all offseason have invested draft capital and cap space into this position in a passing league. When you have, and that's why the Titans' perspective is fascinating, because I can't say I don't get it. Because they say, you know what? A.J. Brown, who I'll say felt to me to be Deebo Samuel-like in terms of his, I guess, personality imprint, if that makes sense,
Yep.
on the offense. I know it's a Derrick Henry offense, but at wide receiver, A.J. Brown and his attitude and the passion that he played with was very Deebo Samuel-esque in Tennessee. But here's Tennessee saying, you know what? We're not going to be able to come to a deal. We're not trying to go to $20 million the way he wants us to go to. We're going to go get Treylon Burks in the first round. And it's a lot to ask Treylon Burks to step in and be A.J. Brown. But rookie receivers are able to make an instant impact.
Well, that's what I'm
in
saying.
NFL.
You say it's a lot to ask. I don't think it's a lot to ask. Teams are not operating.
That's speaking more to how good A.J. Brown was.
But teams are not operating as if it's too much to ask. I mean, you look at these wide receivers. Just saw this. All right, you got all these 8 wide receivers taken in the first 20 picks.
6.
No, 6 wide receivers in the first from 8 to 18. That's what it is. 6 wide receivers taken from number 8 to number 18. So teams are not saying, "Hey, we're going to bring them along slowly." It's an adjustment period.
No, they're expecting to play right away.
They're not going any of those cliches. They're going to say,
they expect to play right away.
We expect you to come in and play.
And recent history suggests that they're going to be guys taken tonight in the second or third round. Because all these guys we're talking about are second-round picks for the most part.
And that's why
their contracts are up
that's why
right
you're
now.
having contract situations.
Correct, because they got 4 years.
I've outperformed my contract.
They've outperformed them. They don't have that fifth-year control. So you had teams that approached the first round last night saying, let's draft the receiver and at least have him for 5 years in the first round and expect him to step in and play right away. But, I mean, I'm looking at a Jets helmet across the way. The Jets, they went out and got Garrett Wilson.
Yep.
To complement Corey Davis, who they paid a lot of money to help Zach Wilson. I mean, this is the wave in the NFL right now, is investing money in a position that is plentiful. So there's lots of supply and demand in the wide receiver position. But the Philadelphia Eagles, man, I love it. You got a quarterback who's on his rookie contract. You're going to give him every opportunity to succeed. And if he doesn't work out, next year you got 2 first-round picks to play with to address the position in a very strong draft. I love A.J. Brown. I love him even better at the mere price of a first and third round pick. So you hate to grade a first round, but if you have to grade a first round in the moment, the Eagles are the biggest winners probably by far.
And I can understand Tennessee's perspective, and I'm not just saying this because I'm a fan of what they do and how they do business. But, Michael, everybody is not going to get what they want from this wide receiver gold rush.
Yeah.
Everybody is not going to go out and get 2 1s, as you put it, They're not going to go out and get 2 1s and suddenly find themselves in championship position. Somebody's going to be disappointed. So if you're Tennessee, you say, all right, we don't think we like A.J. Brown, but we don't think A.J. Brown in $20 million makes a lot of sense for us.
Not for us.
We think it's a good move for us to trade him to Philadelphia, get some draft capital, get a younger guy who's going to be cheaper, and we'll see what happens for the next 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And I tend to
And this is an
agree with
organization
them,
that
because
last year, by the way, traded a second rounder for Julio Jones.
Because trends are, I mean, it sounds nice. I mean, this is the trend in the league, but how often does that result in, hey, here's the trend in the league, and now we're going to use this trend, and the next 4 or 5 NFL champions are going to use this formula that we've identified as a hot new trend in the league. It usually doesn't work like that.
It's two-pronged, because I think what we're identifying is there are the, typically you say the haves and have-nots. There are the wants and don't want tos.
Mm-hmm.
There are the teams that want to invest in wide receiver and have the capital, and their roster is constructed as such where it makes sense for them. It made sense for Miami to go all in on Tyreek Hill. It made sense for the Raiders to go all in on Devontae Adams and so on and so forth. But then you have other organizations, consistently competitive organizations, that's pushing back, saying that the Titans, the Packers, and the Chiefs, they're usually there at the end. So to say that they're on the wrong side of this wave is a little premature.
You talk about the supply and demand. I keep waiting for that flip side of it. There's the flip side. Last night, you just happened to have 2 corners taken back-to-back.
3 and 4,
2 corners in the top 5. That doesn't happen very often in the NFL. But, look, if you're going to have all these wide receivers and, hey, this is what you need in the league, well, you got to cover them.
Got to cover them.
Somebody's got to cover them.
Yeah.
So I want to see a spike. I'm looking for a spike in cornerbacks and even slot guys. Like guys like, and we'll talk about them later, Daxton Hill from that school up north. You need guys like that. A guy who can play some slot. He did that at his school. I can't name it. Did that at his school, and he played some safety. But you're going to need guys, safeties who can cover. It can't all be on the cornerbacks. It's going to be on some guys who've got some positional versatility, who can cover tight ends and wide receivers, because they're all over the place.
Let's get into the other seismic trade involving a wide receiver, whose quarterback.
Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.